Hey, Justin Skinner here, and today I want to talk to you about the Hyperlite FLOSS, the super light frame and frame setup that is taking reign at races lately. This is a new style of frame. It's supposed to be basically a disposable frame. It comes in, I think, at $39 for the entire frame, hardware included, and then you can get extra arms because they are modular. Modular arms, replaceable arms. You get them like 5 arms for $9.99. So it's a disposable frame. It's not meant to take a bashing, but it is meant to get you around the track fast. Reason being is because it's taking the disc loading theory into effect. Disc loading theory has been popularized by Bob Ruge and Brian Morris because it is a factor of deciding how your frame is going to perform. It basically takes into effect the all-up weight, flying weight of your frame in combination with your prop size. So a 5-inch prop with an all-up weight, you do the calculations and right there, and you get your disc loading number. The disc loading number then tells you how well it's going to perform compared to another quad. Essentially, the lower your disc loading number is, the better your quad will perform in the air. Not necessarily top speed, although it could be faster. More so how it's going to, and this is how I interpret it, more so how it's going to react on the course. How well it's going to take corners, how well it's going to accelerate, how well it's going to decelerate. And this all comes into effect depending on the weight of your quad and the size of props you have. So technically, according to the disc loading theory, you could have a quad that runs a 4-inch that has a lower disc loading theory than your 5-inch quad, and it could therefore, in theory, perform better than your 5-inch quad. And depending on the course, I would say this is true. And this is the beginning of us testing this. And I say us because I'm meeting with EnvyAstro later today to put this to work. We're going to be doing some motor tests on these 2204, 2722 Floss Hyperlite FLOSS series. As you see right there, naked bottom. But we'll talk about the motors more in a separate video. This is going to be a 3-video series. First one's introducing the FLOSS. This is the test rig, the rig we're testing everything on. Second video, or maybe the third video, will be the motors. And then the third video is going to be on best props for the motor. So in the second video, or third video, I'll be with EnvyAstro out in the field. We'll be running on the Q1. He's going to help me finalize the Q1 track, the testing track. And we'll be out there and we'll be putting it through his 3-phase motor test, which is efficiency, acceleration, basically it's going to be a drag race around a cone, and then durability. But it's going to be hard to test durability. I have crashed this already, just flying in my backyard, getting it semi-tuned, and they're holding up pretty well. But we'll talk about the motors more in that video, and then we'll talk about the best props to go with these motors. We'll be testing out 3 different size props, at least 3 different size props on this setup. And we'll be going over that in the third video. So stick around, make sure you're a subscriber, that way you don't miss any of the videos. But let's take a closer look at this frame. So first up, we'll take a look at the weight of the frame with everything on. I think the frame weighs 56 grams without, with hardware or something like that. So, but built out, I have it in at just shy of 190 grams. That's without props, but it is with prop nuts. And what's on this quad, so it's a super light quad, very super light, and you'll notice that the arms are pencil thin, but they're replaceable. Remember that. They're $9.99 for 5 arms. So this is a disposable frame, or what I'm considering a disposable frame. He went very bare bones in his design, and you know, that's what you have to do when you're going for a super lightweight. So the components I'm running to get this lightweight is, I'm running, of course, the recommended motors for the frame, which were their FLOSS series Hyperlites 2204, 2722. They had a 3000 kV, and then they had like a 2400 kV, 2422. They always have the weird 2722, 25, 55, something like that. They always have the weird kV numbers on there, exact kV, so that's pretty cool. Then I'm running the Micro Swift, and if you're curious about this camera, I'll have a link right here for you to look at. And that weighs in at 5.6 grams. I'm using these little TPU holders, which do a great job for this particular frame. And then as far as flight controller, I have the KISS CC, the compact controller, which is an all-in-one ESC and flight controller. I think it has a max amperage of 24 amps. So more than enough for these motors, I believe. I haven't had any issues so far. And then I'm running a TBS Unify Pro HV up to 200 milliwatts or 25 milliwatts depending on what you want. And then I have a UFL, or is it ULF? One of those kind of connectors, antennas, circular polarized, that I set right here. So when it's flying, I have it bent downwards like this, and it's right behind the battery, so it's protected pretty well. This should survive plenty of crashes. And then as far as RX, I just switched back over to the Tyrannus. I'm running Tyrannus again. I'll explain that in another video why. But I have the XM Plus right here, full range receiver with the antennas running off down right here, protected back here, and their little tubes. And that's it. That's very bare bones. Once you go all in one, things get very easy to set up. As you can see right here, the compact controller, I was plugging in the USB and it broke off. And then I had my sensei, Adma FPV, Adam, he's a DRL pilot. He actually came in with his super awesome soldering skills and helped me fix this one. And so before flying, I'll have this secured down somehow, but it still works. It still works. Besides that, let's look at the actual frame and how it's all set up. So something interesting about this frame, and it's interesting for better or worse, is that the flight controller stack is actually built in on top of the support structure for the arm. Now, I'm not a big fan of anything being built into the support structure, or the support structure being built into the stack. This is where your most valuable electronic goes. It's a pain in the butt if something happens and you have to replace this arm. It's a pain in the butt, I'm sure, to have to, I haven't done it yet, but to be able to get back in here and take this off, replace the arm, get everything back in, because that's a nut right there. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. Not only that, but it actually stacks up very weird. It made it very difficult to get my stack even. I had to do a little magic with my bolts. See on this side, I put a little nut down on the bottom of this to be able to get my bolt length just right so I can get my flight controller stack even. I'm running a capacitor, it's a little baby capacitor, but it's 25 voltage capacitor, so it's good. And I have it zip tied down. But besides that, everything else is pretty straightforward. Besides the stack and the arms, the way they're mounted, so they're mounted on the top right there, and they have a bolt right here on each side. And I haven't, because up here I'm not sure if they're missing something, if I was missing a piece, or if they need to change it up. But I think I couldn't get this tight enough, because I get a little play, and you know, I accept that. That's acceptable to me in air, because it's not going to be, it's only going to move really in a crash. It's not light or easy enough to move that it'll move when, you know, I'm just flying. But I got play everywhere in these arms, and I'm not sure if there's much you can do about that. That'd be tolerances, and it shouldn't affect anything in flight as long as, you know, it's tight enough. But that was kind of interesting. And there we go. That's really the first look at the Floss. I did get some flight footage to throw up real quick in my backyard. It was just a tuning session, so nothing serious. And I'm still getting used to being back on the Tyrannus, so my stick feel and everything was a little off. But I'll get there. And the video today, the next video will be out at the field using Q1 with EnvyAstro. It might be on his channel, so check down below, or you know, check this link right here, right behind my finger. Click this link, and then go join his channel, subscribe, make sure you're not missing out on this little Floss series of testing. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
We're running out of light. Time is changing day to night. Lines are fading out, and we're dancing in the park. Nothing's wrong with when I start, 'cause you look better in the dark.